Hey, this is B. LeGrand with the Edibles List, and we're here with Cheryl Shuman, Aimee Shuman, and Chef Chanel.
Good to see you guys again. Thank you so much for your time today and coming, giving us this interview and cover feature. We'd like to give our patients and viewers a little backstory about yourself. So would you tell us how you became a medical marijuana patient?
Well, a couple of reasons. I started using cannabis in 1996 after my doctors recommended it for a mood disorder. And I found that the cannabis was working far more effectively for me than any antidepressant or anti-anxiety that they had given me. And then fast forward to 2006, I got cancer, and that's when I learned about cancer, CBDs, and certain strains being used for, reducing tumor growth, as well as, providing a better quality of life for end-of-life patients. I got lucky in that I feel that cannabis saved my life. I can't prove it scientifically, but I know I'm still here when the doctor said that I wouldn't be.
What kind of cancer was it that you had?
I had ovarian cancer.
Okay. Did you end up having an entire hysterectomy?
Yes, I was diagnosed, and literally within 72 hours I was rushed into emergency surgery and had a radical hysterectomy, which means everything is gone, and they also took out part of my colon and part of my bladder.
How long were you going through recovery from your treatment?
It took almost 4 years total to go from that initial diagnosis to the different surgeries, and then dealing with that. And when they did the follow-up care after the hysterectomy, they found another mass that was on my liver. I still have it. It's 8.5 centimeters by 11.5 centimeters that covers my entire liver and has grown through the fundus and into the gallbladder.
Wow. Well, and so what was your doctors, were they supportive of you choosing to use medical marijuana as an additional supplement to your medicine?
In 2006, when I was diagnosed with cancer, I was living in an illegal state, in the state of Ohio, so we had to come up with some alternative plans. And it was when I was in hospice care that Aimee and I sat down, and we had seen all of the cases on YouTube with the Rick Simpson oil, as well as the Tikkun Olam group in Israel. And when I started seeing patients that were claiming that they were healed from cannabis, Aimee and I decided to do our own garden, and that's when we decided to just kind of go out on our own. I didn't tell my doctors in Ohio because, quite frankly, I was afraid to. I was afraid that I'd get reported. I was afraid of going to jail. And so we focused our energies on getting back to California, where we could have our own legal garden and basically be in charge of our own health care and not have to worry about any kind of illegalities.
So, Aimee, this question's for you. How has your mother influenced your choice and preference in using cannabis?
Ooh, well, I'm definitely a sativa girl. How have you influenced my taste in cannabis? I think I look at cannabis, I take it more seriously compared to high school, because high school it was just something...
Did you smoke weed in high school?
No.
It was never something that you pursued out there on your own as a recreational thing?
No. Well, I grew up around cannabis, so it wasn't a novelty with me. It was not some novelty milestone that I had to experience in my youth. So I tried cannabis for the first time a year ago on the ABC 2020 shoot.
Is that real?
Yeah.
Wow.
And it was through our chef that I tried it, and it was a cannabis-infused meal, and I tried it for the first time, and I said, Mom, you might actually be onto something here. Like, I feel good, and it's not that stupid stoner. It's actually like I feel happy and normal, and it's a better quality of life, so I can understand the medicinal aspect of it for sure.
What were you guys doing before you started your co-op?
Well, we were working in PR and marketing. Aimee has grown up with me, and I've known her entire life.
Imagine that.
Both of my girls, they grew up with me being an entrepreneur and a single mom. So, we've always had a very open and honest relationship. And quite frankly, I put her to work when she was really young. So she really grew up in the industry, and it's great because she grew up on sets, and she understands how production works and how entertainment works. But one of the things I remember when she would come home, and when I first started using cannabis, I sat my girls down and I had an open and an honest talk with them, because I believe it's very important, especially as a single parent or even a parent in general, to be open and authentic with your children, because the bottom line is they're going to learn about cannabis or drugs or marijuana, whatever you want to call it, in school, and cannabis is much easier to get in school than almost anything else. So I felt it was very important to have that talk with my children about cannabis being used as a medicine for responsible adult use and not for children, and to be treated like any other medication. And the fact that it was prescribed by my doctor, I think, was an added bonus. So I think when you take that mystery out of it,
Yeah.
it doesn't mean so much. It's like anything else, you know. And I remember when we did the ABC shoot, I've been telling her for years, you know, for me, cannabis works as a superior mood stabilizer. And one of the things that I've seen over the years, whether it be with Aimee or some of her friends, doctors are very quick to prescribe Paxil and antidepressants or Ritalin or medicines for ADHD. And then finally one day she tried it, and she did. She looked at me, she said, "I think you're onto something here." And it was actually
Or you're on something.
you know, it's been
Maybe
a
a little
great
both.
bonding experience also. I remember when we started the garden together, we went and got the seeds and everything together, and it's been a mother-daughter trip the entire way, literally, a trip.
And so prior to starting your cannabis club, you were an optician.
Yes.
And so how did you ever see yourself ever having your own co-op, doing this, being on television, being the Martha Stewart of marijuana? Did you ever have any kind of foresight into this future for yourself that is your present right now?
Well, I've been an entrepreneur my entire life, so the thought of building a business is not something that was new to me. The thought of having a business in cannabis was the last thing on earth I ever thought that I would ever do.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people, I've never smoked a cigarette, I don't really drink that much.
Mimosas.
It's funny because, you know, I was 36 years old when I tried cannabis for the first time, and it worked for me. And when you consider the fact it was my therapist that prescribed it for me,
Yeah.
so very unusual. And fast forward all the way to 2007, 2008, you know, after I had my surgery and so forth. What basically happened, I mean, I was still in the closet at that point, and I equate this movement, this business, to being very similar to the LBGT movement, because once you're out of the closet, you're out, and
Right.
it's like you've got to take that stand. And I remember Aimee and I, when we decided to get into the business aspect of it, you know, we had a long heart-to-heart mother-daughter discussion, because she's not only my daughter, she's my best friend and my business partner. So we had to talk about it, and I remember the very first meeting that we went to, and we looked around, and I remember saying, you know, if I make it through this, I really want to build a business in this, because it's something that there weren't a lot of serious business people in the cannabis industry at
Right.
that time. And it just seemed to be a natural fit. And what I saw, when you consider the fact that cannabis basically got a bad reputation because of lies being told about it, we looked at each other, you remember, and I said, look, this is a simple rebranding campaign.
Yep.
You know, marijuana just got a bad rep. It's not a bad plant.
Right.
It's just got a bad reputation.
Yep.
And then we just kind of went into action. It just all happened kind of naturally after that, right?
Well, so you and Aimee have become the faces of mainstream cannabis use. How has this affected your relationship?
It's been a bonding experience, and I can't think of anybody else to go on this journey with other than, like, my mom.
I would concur.
I
We have fun. I mean, it's so funny. When we do a lot of video diaries together. We've done 27 national and international media appearances in the past 6 months. And I remember when we started getting approached by production companies, everyone was like, you two, it's magic, the mother-daughter thing, you know. We kind of look at each other, I mean, we're just us. You know,
I've
it's
known her
just
my whole life. I've known you my whole life.
We've known each other our whole lives.
Has it changed your family dynamic, having the business be this family business?
Again, having a family business, and this is any family business, it has its challenges, but it's helped us. It's helped us definitely like listen to each other and hash out the best ideas.
Yeah.
And we both have so many great ideas. It's really hard to pick one.
And we have great therapists.
And we have amazing therapists.
In fact, our reality show is going to start out with a therapy session for each episode.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of a coach, life coach, like.
Yeah.
Because you know what? It's so funny. You love your family. We love each other very much.
Yeah.
But working together.
Yeah, that's a challenge.
It's challenging.
And
you
then
know?
also being
And
females with
especially,
emotions.
Yeah, that mother-daughter dynamic. I mean, everybody has a mother. And
Yeah, and it's not always easy.
But we love each other, no matter
Yeah.
what.